Do not worry. This is what Jesus says when he is telling people about them worrying about their day to day problems, like what they shall eat, what they shall drink, or what they shall wear. And the same thing that he says unto us is the same thing that he said unto them. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We worry because we think that if we lose that, then we lose everything. And if we lose everything, then we lose certainty. But if we have God, then we have certainty. And if we have certainty, then we have everything because God is everything and certainty. So Jesus says unto us that God already knows what you need, even more than we do. And He knows us way better and way more than even we do towards ourselves and than anyone else could ever know us. And because of this, Jesus says we have nothing to worry about. Because just as in the days when in the Lord's Prayer, He said, "Give us this day our daily bread." For that's what was going on with Israel, ancient Israel, when they were in the wilderness. They were given each day enough manna just for the day. And another thing too is another thing too is hmm okay, don't worry, I'm back, I'm still here. What does it look like not to worry? From what I've gone through and from what I've learned and from how have lived, not that I'm telling you to live the way I live, I'm just giving you a testimonial example. It's I don't even think I plan for the future, but I don't expect it to be exactly how I think it should be. Because, again, waiting on thoughts, feelings, and circumstances to change, for you to change, it's a, it's a terrible direction to go because the world is unpredictable. So even your character will be unpredictable because of the world. And I know some people think as if it's a good thing to be unpredictable, but the unpredictability I'm talking about isn't about what other people knowing what you're going to do. It's about you entering into situations you are not supposed to get into because you made choices that had nothing to do with God in them. And because of this, because of this, um, we tend to think that if this doesn't happen, that will happen, or if that doesn't happen, this will happen. When we're not even sure that we're even going to have tomorrow, even in the first place. It's one thing to plan for the future, it's another thing to plan for contingencies that haven't even happened, for scenarios that haven't even happened, for hypothetical ideas that haven't even happened. And in my life, I've learned to have hope, but not to imagine failure and not to imagine success because it could corrupt your reasoning in the sense that you feel highly of yourself, thinking that you've already done it even before. And I know faith is a confidence in what is hoped for and the reassurance of what is not seen. And this is very true, but that doesn't mean we use that word as a means to justify pride or self confidence or self righteousness. And there's nothing wrong with being confident in your ability to do something, but it's a problem when it's from a perspective of you thinking you don't need God anymore. So, we're talking about do not worry. Do not worry. I suppose Jesus was telling us this so that we're not troubled by unnecessary experiences or by unnecessary hypothetical things that we ultimately don't have control over. And because of this, and because of this, we can trust that He has everything under control. Everything. Everything under control. Literally everything. And that sometimes worrying can be a habit, leading us to replace God in our lives by attempting to imagine contingencies that already haven't even, for problems that haven't even happened, and replacing God in the mix of all of this. I mean, it's one thing to be lazy. I mean, it's one thing to plan out things in case some things happen, but it's another thing altogether to claim assertive authority over all aspects of your life, over possibilities you don't even know. So when Jesus says, do not worry, he's not saying don't do anything. And he's also not saying you don't have to, no, he's also not saying that we shouldn't be concerned or do something about particular situations. I think what Jesus meant by experience is that why are we worried about things that we have no control over when we have God who has control over everything? What?